You are having difficulty communicating. You understand what the other person is saying, but you cannot respond or respond slowly because you do not know which grammar structure to use. In this video, I will provide you with the top phrases commonly used to form sentences, along with illustrated examples. I hope this video will help you improve your English speaking skills and reflexes. So let's get started.
1. Used to plus verb. The phrase used to is used to talk about past habits or actions that are no longer true or relevant in the present. It is often used with a verb in the infinitive form base form. Here are some examples. I used to smoke, but I quit last year. This means that the person used to smoke in the past, but they don't smoke anymore. We used to go to the beach every summer when we were kids. This means that the speaker and their siblings/friends had a habit of going to the beach every summer when they were younger, but they don't do it anymore. She used to live in Paris before moving to London. This means that the person lived in Paris in the past, but they don't live there anymore. Note that used to is different from usually or often, which are used to talk about habits or actions that are still true in the present. Used to refers specifically to past habits or actions that have since changed. Here is an example sentence using the phrase mentioned earlier. I used to live in a small town in the countryside. It was a peaceful place with beautiful scenery. I used to wake up early in the morning to the sound of birds singing outside my window. I used to spend my weekends walking in the nearby woods or fishing in the river. However, I moved to the city a few years ago for work and I missed the simplicity of my old life. I used to think that living in a big city was exciting, but now I realize that I prefer the tranquility of the countryside. 2. Would plus verb. The phrase would plus verb can have a few different uses in English. Here are some of the most common. 1. Conditional statements. If I had more time, I would go to the gym every day. This means that the speaker does not have enough time currently to go to the gym every day, but if they did have more time, they would do so. 2. Polite requests. Would you mind passing the salt? This is a more polite way to ask someone to pass the salt than simply saying, pass the salt, please. 3. Past habits. When I was younger, I would spend hours playing video games. This means that in the past, the speaker had a habit of spending a lot of time playing video games. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. I would often go to the park with my friends when I was younger. We would play soccer or frisbee and have a picnic. Sometimes we would even fly kites if it was windy. My parents would always tell me that I should be home by dinner time, so I would make sure to leave the park early enough to get home in time. Now that I'm an adult, I have to work all day, but I still try to make time for my hobbies. I love to read books and listen to music in my free time. I also need to exercise regularly to stay healthy, so I often go to the gym after work. I can't always do everything I want to do, but I try to make the most of my time. Let's make plans to hang out soon. 3. Could plus verb. The phrase could plus verb can also have a few different uses in English. Here are some of the most common. 1. Past ability. When I was younger, I could run a mile in under 6 minutes. This means that in the past, the speaker had the ability to run a mile in under 6 minutes. 2. Polite request. Could you please pass me the salt? This is a polite way to ask someone to pass the salt. 3. Conditional statements. If I could travel anywhere in the world, I would go to Japan. This means that the speaker would like to travel to Japan if it were possible. 4. Possibility. It could rain later, so I brought my umbrella. This means that there is a possibility of rain later, so the speaker brought an umbrella just in case. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. When I was a child, I could climb trees like a monkey. I would spend hours outside, exploring the woods behind my house. I could identify different types of trees and animals, and I was fascinated by nature. As I got older, I realized that I could use my love for nature to help protect the environment. I started volunteering at a local park and learned how to plant trees and clean up trash. Now I work for an environmental organization and I could not be happier with my job. I feel like I am making a difference in the world, and I am grateful for the skills that I could use to help protect the planet. Four. Should plus verb. The phrase, should plus verb, is often used to give advice or make suggestions in English. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Advice. You should see a doctor if you're feeling sick. This means that the speaker is advising the listener to see a doctor if they are not feeling well. 2. Obligation. I should finish my work before I go home. This means that the speaker feels that it is their obligation or responsibility to finish their work before leaving. 3. Probability. It should be sunny today. This means that based on the speaker's knowledge or experience, it is likely that the weather will be sunny today. 4. Criticism. You shouldn't have spoken to her like that. This means that the speaker believes that the listener's behavior was inappropriate. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. If you want to stay healthy, you should exercise regularly. You should also eat a balanced diet and get enough sleep. If you are feeling stressed, you should take some time to relax and do something that you enjoy. You should also make sure to stay hydrated and avoid unhealthy habits like smoking or drinking too much alcohol. If you have any concerns about your health, you should talk to a doctor or a healthcare professional. Remember, taking care of your health is important for your overall well-being, and you should make it a priority in your life. 5. Have to or has to plus verb. The phrase, have to or has to plus verb, is used to express obligation or necessity in English. It indicates that something is required or necessary to be done. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Obligation. I have to go to work. This means that the speaker is obligated to go to work. 2. Necessity. You have to drink water to stay hydrated. This means that drinking water is necessary to stay hydrated. 3. Prohibition. You have to be 18 years old to buy cigarettes. This means that it is prohibited to buy cigarettes unless you are 18 years old. 4. Possibility. He has to be at the airport by 8 p.m. This means that it is necessary for him to be at the airport by 8 p.m. in order to catch his flight. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. I have to wake up early every morning to get ready for work. I have to take a shower, brush my teeth, and get dressed. Then I have to make breakfast and pack my lunch. After that, I have to drive to work and arrive on time. I have to attend meetings and complete tasks that are assigned to me. Sometimes I have to work overtime to meet deadlines. When I get home, I have to prepare dinner and take care of other responsibilities like doing laundry or cleaning the house. Although it can be tiring, I know that I have to work hard to support myself and my family. 6. Want to plus verb. The phrase, want to plus verb, is used to express desire or intention in English. It indicates that the speaker wants or intends to do something. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Desire. I want to eat pizza tonight. This means that the speaker desires to eat pizza tonight. 2. Intention. He wants to study abroad next year. This means that he intends to study abroad next year. 3. Request. I want to borrow your book. This means that the speaker is requesting to borrow the book. For permission. Can I go to the movies? I want to watch the new Marvel movie. This means that the speaker is asking for permission to go to the movies because they want to watch the new Marvel movie. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. I want to learn how to speak Spanish fluently. I want to travel to Spanish-speaking countries and be able to communicate with the locals. I want to read Spanish books and watch Spanish movies without subtitles. To achieve this goal, I want to take Spanish classes and practice speaking with native speakers. I want to immerse myself in the language and culture to become more confident and proficient. I believe that learning a new language can open up many opportunities and enrich my life in many ways. I want to make it a priority to pursue my goal and achieve fluency in Spanish. 7. Can't plus verb. The phrase, can't plus verb, is used to express inability or impossibility in English. It indicates that the speaker is unable to do something or that something is impossible to do. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Inability. I can't swim. This means that the speaker is unable to swim. 2. Impossibility. It can't be true. This means that the speaker thinks it is impossible for something to be true. 3. Prohibition. You can't park here. This means that it is prohibited to park in that location. 4. Strong negative statement. I can't stand the cold weather. This means that the speaker strongly dislikes the cold weather. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. I can't believe I forgot my keys again. I can't enter my house without them. I can't call anyone for help because my phone is inside. I can't even go for a walk to kill time because I have to wait for someone to bring me a spare key. I can't stop beating myself up for being so forgetful. I can't afford to keep doing this, especially when it causes so much inconvenience and stress. I need to find a way to remember my keys, whether it's by placing them in a designated spot or making it a habit to check for them before leaving the house. I can't let this happen again. 8. Don't or doesn't plus verb. The phrase, don't or doesn't plus verb, is used to make negative statements in English. It is used to indicate that someone is not doing something or that something is not happening. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Present tense. I don't eat meat. This means that the speaker does not eat meat. 2. Present continuous tense. She doesn't like skiing. This means that the person being referred to does not like skiing. 3. Imperative mood. Don't forget your keys. This means that the speaker is telling someone not to forget their keys. 4. Negative question. Don't you like pizza? This means that the speaker is asking if someone does not like pizza. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. She doesn't like spicy food. She finds it too hot and uncomfortable to eat. She doesn't add any hot sauce or chili pepper to her dishes, even if they are meant to be spicy. She also avoids ordering spicy dishes at restaurants, and instead chooses milder options. Her friends often tease her about her taste preferences, but she doesn't mind. She knows what she likes and doesn't like, and she doesn't want to force herself to eat something that doesn't make her happy. Similarly, she doesn't judge others for their food choices and respects their preferences. She believes that everyone should have the freedom to eat what they enjoy. 9. Let's plus verb. The phrase, let's plus verb, is used to make suggestions or invitations in English. It is a contraction of let us, and is used to include the speaker and the listeners in the action being suggested. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Suggestion. Let's go to the movies tonight. This means that the speaker is suggesting that they go to the movies tonight. 2. Invitation. Let's have dinner together next week. This means that the speaker is inviting the listener to have dinner together next week. 3. Proposal. Let's work on the project together. This means that the speaker is proposing that they work on the project together. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. Let's go for a hike this weekend. It's supposed to be sunny and warm, perfect weather for a scenic walk in the mountains. Let's pack some snacks and water, wear comfortable shoes, and bring a camera to capture the beautiful views. Let's also invite some friends to join us, the more the merrier. Let's make a day out of it and enjoy each other's company while exploring nature. Let's choose a trail that suits our fitness level and take breaks when we need to. Let's have fun and make memories that we'll cherish for years to come. 10. Would like to plus verb. The phrase, would like to plus verb, is a polite way to express a desire or request in English. It is often used in formal or polite situations to ask for something or to express interest in doing something. Here are some examples of how it can be used. 1. Request. I would like to request a meeting with you next week. This means that the speaker is politely asking for a meeting with the listener next week. 2. Interest. I would like to learn how to play the guitar. This means that the speaker is expressing an interest in learning how to play the guitar. 3. Offer. I would like to help you with your project. This means that the speaker is offering to help the listener with their project. Here is an example paragraph using the phrase mentioned earlier. I would like to travel to Japan someday. I have always been fascinated by the country's rich culture and history, as well as its modern cities and advanced technology. I would like to visit Tokyo and Kyoto, and try traditional Japanese cuisine like sushi and ramen. I would also like to learn more about the Japanese language and customs. Hopefully, I will have the opportunity to make this trip in the future.